All right, we're live.
We are live.
We are live. So this is the Texas Cornhole Show. I'm Jonathan Zarzinski. This is Grant Upchurch. And this is what we think we're finally going to publish.
I think we've had enough practice runs.
Yeah.
This is for real.
We have hours of content, and it might be time to put some content out there.
Yep. We'll be talking to BG for the third time today.
Yeah. We'll try to nail that interview. We're here at AJ's Sports, flagship sponsor of the Texas Cornhole Show.
We really appreciate all that AJ's has done for us.
Yeah, and it's got to be one of the best venues for cornhole on the planet.
And my deal is, if it's not the best right now, I feel like it's going to be.
Yeah, it's the best in Texas.
Yes.
Right. And we've got our own podcasting room in here. That's awesome.
Yeah, when we first walked in here and it was just kind of a mess of a room,
yeah.
We might have pictured this.
Yeah.
But come to life is a whole different story, right?
I'm kind of proud of us right now.
I'm fired up. I'm like 50% proud of us, 50% like, hey, Raymond got it done,
Yeah, Raymond, the owner of AJ's, is a guy who gets things done, and there aren't many guys like that.
No, not many. A lot of promises, but he does them.
No, he does them. Every time I show up, he does them. That dude has got a work ethic that's better than, I would say, almost anybody else I know.
Yeah.
He is always doing work, and this place at AJ's is amazing. If you're anywhere near Texas, come check out AJ's Sports. There's events going on almost every single day.
Yep.
Not affiliated with any league. Both AJ's and our show, by the way.
No, essentially what he's going for, he's going to be bringing in different directors from different leagues and letting them run events, right?
Yeah.
If it's non-sanctioned in any way, if it's an ACL event, TCL event, he's bringing it in, Maybe some ACO in the future. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, it's going to be great. The Center Circuit is going to be here.
Center Circuit will be the final show will be here. And we'll be hosting a draft. It'll be awesome.
Broadcasting live.
I think we're going to have 120 to 150 people here. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be a great show. And that'll be at the end of summer, right?
Yes.
So let's talk just for a little bit about the Center Circuit. It's kicking off. I know that I saw a lot of it on social media today.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about it.
So it's going to be kicking off in the TCL off season because I wanted there to be no schedule conflicts. We're doing it in the off period. Give everybody something to do during the summer period. And it's going to be starting at the beginning of July. We're starting at, in Arlington. It's either going to be at Texas Live or it's going to be here at AJ's. And it's going to be a Switch Holio. Everybody comes, $50 entry fee, but, payouts are already getting huge based on pre-registration. And you're playing to qualify for the final show here at AJ's. So you qualify by either finishing top 4 in your bracket, upper or lower, or top 4 PPR after the bracket's done.
Got it.
Okay, so you can qualify in the upper and lower. So, and then the final tournament, there'll be added payouts, and like I said, there will be a draft process to choose your partners rather than a Switch Holio. It's going to be a big deal. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait either. I've registered for the first one, and I hope I qualify. And another thing is that if you play center bags or throw center bags, you'll be able to qualify for the final show.
So you can throw whatever bags you want to during the qualification period, but to actually qualify for AJ's, you must be throwing center bags.
Cool.
Or big center.
Or big center. Elvis is out there.
Elvis out there.
in Maryland. Those are options. All right,
yes.
Cool.
And some more big center bags in the works, right?
I would be happy to make more big center bags. I can't wait.
So I can't wait to see what happens. We're going from Arlington to Campbell to Longview to Odessa to Abilene. We're going to be all over Texas.
I can't wait. It's going to be great. So Center Cornhole is one of the big sponsors of the show, so we did want to definitely talk about Center. And also introduce ourselves, right? So it's the first episode. So you're Grant Upchurch, and you are one of the owners of Center Cornhole. You started it, right? The other one is me. I'm Jonathan Zarzinski. I own Big D. I make cornhole bags for the most part. And I also make some of the big center. I make the big center bags.
Right.
And that's enough about me.
Together, we also make Podium Potion, bag break-in.
Mr. 12 Podium Potion. Yeah, so we're a couple of guys that have spent way too much time on cornhole. I've got a couple of cornhole businesses, and one of them is with you. Mr. 12's Podium Potion's great stuff. It works. Try it. Every time I use it myself, I'm like, wow, this stuff really does work.
Yes, and I've tried to bring out all my bags, all sorts of different bags at these events, and let people touch and feel them, because when you pick up a bag that's been broken in with Podium Potion, you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
It's, when you talk about softness, and it makes the bag feel more hole friendly, honestly.
Yeah.
True or not, it definitely feels like it.
And it doesn't feel too, grimy.
No, it doesn't leave residue.
Doesn't leave residue. Yeah, I didn't want to just hammer sponsors out of the gate, but we did. But it also kind of tells everybody like who we are, what we're about.
Right.
I spend most of my time doing cornhole things these days. You're a great cornhole player. I'm not.
You're getting there.
I'm a lawyer. You're not.
Right? You say I'm a great cornhole player. Right now we're 1-1 in our pre-show head-to-heads.
Yeah.
Right.
We have had 2 pre-show head-to-heads now.
You beat me 21-20.
Yes.
And then I just beat you with the Clyde.
First time ever throwing him. Yeah, shout out Clyde.
Shout out Clyde. Hey, that's underrated. I know we were talking before, and there's trendsetters and then trend followers. A lot of trend followers out there, right?
Yeah,
you try to be a trendsetter here with this Clyde bag, and I'll tell you what, dude, it melts in the hole.
It does.
It finds the hole and it melts in the hole. So if you're a fast bag thrower, I don't know why you haven't bought yourself a set, because they're money.
Yeah, we did talking about the bag before the show. I'm beaming. I'm smiling ear to ear. I love hearing it because I put a lot of time into that bag and nobody likes it. Well, nobody throws it because it's different.
It's got to give it a shot,
Yeah, and you got to break in that control side.
Right.
All right, so enough about commercials. That was maybe 8 minutes of us talking about our sponsors.
Well, now that everyone's skipped, fast forward through that.
Yeah, skip the first 8 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to work on that, I guess. But some of the things we want to talk about is really anything and everything that's Texas and cornhole.
Right.
Because we're the Texas
We're
Cornhole
trying to
show.
cover all of it. Any of the events, doesn't matter what their affiliation is. If you're a Texas player, representation of Texas, we're going to talk about it.
That's right.
And to start that whole thing off,
I mean, the big news, right? The number one cornhole player on the planet, according to the American Cornhole League,
Correct.
which is the biggest cornhole league.
and Scorholio as of right now as well.
Ooh, and Scorholio.
Yes.
So he's sweeping that too.
He is.
He's sweeping everything.
He's got it all.
His name's Justin Burton Jr.
Uh-huh.
And he's from Texas.
He's money.
Yeah, he's money.
He's money.
He's really good at cornhole.
He's got it down. He has figured something out with his throw, and he's just consistent.
Very consistent.
The model of consistency right now. Everyone last year was Mark Richards. Right now it's Justin Burton Jr.
I was looking at the odds, and they're even. Mark Richards and Justin Burton Jr. have the same odds to win the next tournament.
So they play pretty much the same style of game, but Justin's got a roll bag on him, right?
Richards doesn't? I thought he did. Somebody was telling me he was rolling pro snipers.
Okay, from the times I've played him, it was either airmail or slide.
Yeah.
So, something might have changed. But
So what's the difference between a flop and a roll?
I have no idea. I can't do either.
Yeah. Okay. I always think the flop is the tail heavy bag, or the back loaded, people say.
Mm-hmm.
Flies nose up, tail down, lands and flops. And the roll is the one that has, a rotation on it, like right wing down if it's
It's
an
more
airplane.
like a cut bag that...
A cut that rolls, yeah. That's how I see it, but there's not like a standard nomenclature.
To me, it does the same thing, so...
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well,
Right?
but one is much safer. The one that's like right side down, that can go off the back, where the back loaded one is much more likely to stop before it goes over the
Okay.
back. That's been my experience. So to get that right side down to roll, you got to throw it pretty hard, right? And the back loaded one, you don't have to throw it as hard.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, now you know.
No, that's my opinion. I don't know if I'm right.
So what makes both of those guys, Mark Richards and Justin, it makes sense that they're both elite. They're hole first every single time.
Yeah.
Right?
You can't lose if you throw 12s.
No. Period.
You can't.
And, I got some numbers here. Singles-wise, Mark Richards, who was at the top of his bracket, threw a 10-3-4 through 155 rounds of playing. Justin Burton Jr., 9-9-1 through 143. Now, there's some people in there in between that threw real well, just didn't win their games, but Justin, I believe, ended up double-dipping Mark, correct?
Yes. Well, wait. Did he double-dip him? I know he double-dipped him in that Triple Crown. I'm not sure if he double-dipped him in the singles. No, he didn't. He beat Devin Harbaugh. Wait, in ACL, you got to get out of your bracket.
Yeah, out of the bracket
and then you go
first.
to another bracket.
So Mark and Justin were in the same bracket.
I believe I heard he double-dipped him twice. You're right.
Okay.
Which is a big deal, man, because he was the hot. Mark Richards, everybody was talking about him. Like before, it was Jamie Graham and it was Matt Guy.
Right.
And Justin double-dipped him twice in the course of like 10 days.
And again, the four people we just mentioned all pretty much play the same style of game, which is hole first.
Yeah.
High number, high PPR.
Yeah, which is probably what everybody should play. Grant, Upchurch.
I won't, but I like playing cornhole the game, not who can throw the most bags in a hole.
Yeah. And those guys throw a lot of bags in the hole.
They do. They're all over it. I mean, when they get dialed in, they're dialed in. So in doubles, I'm going to see here, Justin Burton Jr. threw a 9.72. Logan threw a 9.6. So pretty consistent for both of them. 62 rounds, 65 rounds. Yeah, I mean, going after the hole. Logan had a 1.02 point differential, and Justin Burton Jr. had a 1.11. That's big.
Yeah.
For people that know, especially when you play hole for hole, Logan doesn't, but Justin, 1.11 is a huge number.
Yeah.
1 point every time you touch the bags, you're scoring one.
Yeah.
That's great. That's just great.
Yep.
So he won the blind draw, singles, and doubles. Doubles with Logan.
Are we talking in the
ACL.
So in both the ACL and Triple Crown, he won blind draw, doubles, and singles?
Well, let me take that back. I'm not sure about the blind draw.
He didn't win the blind draw in the ACL.
Okay.
But, okay, won everything else. So out of 6 things he could have won in 2 big tournaments, he won 5 of them.
Yeah.
So, when he won the ACL tournament, it was during Easter weekend. And I was surprised to see people using the term him with a capital H. And there's one guy in particular who I think is kind of religious. I've heard him or seen him post about Jesus and God. He is him. Like JBG is him.
Yeah.
Capital H, right? Like he's Cornhole Jesus.
Well, him came back home and got third place with Logan in a local ACL doubles.
Yeah,
I believe Gavin and Bella took first place.
That's right. I took notes on this one. So here at AJ's, there's an ACL Super Regional. And first place doubles, Gavin and Bella. Second place, Fletcher Johnson and Jake Watley. Shout out Mason Terry for listening to this. Thanks for responding to my text.
Yeah.
I didn't know who Jake Watley is, but apparently he's pretty good because you got to be pretty good to beat Justin and JBJ, right? And they were throwing sorcerers, Fletcher and Jake.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. I think Gavin and Bella were throwing wizards.
Okay.
And I didn't notice what Justin and JBJ were throwing. Probably wizards.
I would imagine something along those lines. A BG bag for sure.
Yeah, everybody was throwing BG.
And I mean, hey, they came back into town on their high horse, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
And it's hard to win coming back from that because it's almost like you feel like there's no way I lose.
Yeah, super hot hand. And you're also going on the circuit of talk shows, right? So I've heard Justin and Logan on several podcasts and shows. They were on the Big Ass Brothers. They were on CJ's thing. Justin was on Big Tex Talk. So you got that spotlight on you, which you've dealt with that a little bit.
Yeah, a little.
You got to feel like Superman. I mean, people saying he is him, JBJ is him, and him beating everybody and
top
everybody
of the world. I mean, literally, you go look up any standings right now, he's at the top.
Yeah.
I don't know about TCL, but I mean, I'm sure as soon as he fills out his scorecard, he will be at the top.
Right. Yeah. They just play for the most part signature series. Right.
Well, I mean, no, he's playing some league. I've seen him at singles tournaments, but again, he'll fill out a scorecard, and there's no reason he shouldn't be Player of the Year this year.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens this coming weekend. So coming up, which hopefully we publish this episode. We'll see.
Oh, we will.
We're going to publish it, and then if we do, that'll be tomorrow. That'll be Thursday. And there's going to be the ACL Open number 10, Shootout number 2, and Super Hole number 2 is going to be this weekend in Kansas City. And all eyes on Justin. Right?
All eyes.
Can he keep it up?
Can he stay hot? I mean, I hope that he keeps his head down and just keeps working at it.
Right.
Don't get to the top of the mountain and just feel like you're good. Because everyone's gunning for you now. Period.
Yeah. Target on your back every time you show up.
Yes.
And I think in sports, that's one of the things I find really interesting is how long can you stay at the top once you find it and once you get there.
Right, because you work real hard to get to the top. Once you're there, you're in unseen territory.
Yeah.
Now it's time to find something out about yourself.
Yeah, like what motivates you to stay there?
Right.
Right? Before it was to get there.
Yeah, now you're there. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm interested to know.
Yeah, there was a golfer, David Duval. Remember him? He got to the top. It was kind of before Tiger. And when he got to the top of the golf world, was beating everybody. Shot a 59 in a PGA Tour event, and he was like, he got to the top, and it was like, this is it.
Yeah,
this is it.
Yeah.
And I guess he kind of got bored and kind of faded
away. And it's easy to do that. I mean, there was a little not the ACL wise. I was not at the top by any means ACL wise, but with TCL, you get to the top, you start winning over and over again, and eventually it's like, man, the practice isn't as important. Going to every single tournament isn't as important. It turns into a job. It sucks the fun out of it because you expect to get first rather than you're gunning for first, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine, once you're there, you just kind of assume you're going to stay there.
Right.
But, once you find it, well, let me say it differently. When you find it, you think you're never going to lose it. When you lose it, you think you're never going to find it.
Right.
I know from my limited experience in cornhole, I've recognized that when I'm throwing really well, that's usually a warning sign. Once I think like, okay, I've really got something that's working here. The fall for me is coming soon. Like I've noticed, like, I'm throwing really good. I'm usually going to lose it.
Yeah.
Right? Because it comes and it goes,
It does. I mean, again, though, Justin has been nothing but Mr. Consistency, period.
Yeah.
So...
And, I don't know if you'll listen to this, but by the way, congratulations. You've been also doing really well when you're on these shows talking to people. I think he's representing the state of Texas wonderfully. Couldn't be more excited to have a representative like him, representing. It's finally happened where one of these Texas players is on the national stage and winning because we have so many great players that are here.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Most of these Texas players have had a run of their own. Josh and AJ had a run on their own. Josh isn't playing now. AJ still goes out and he competes. He might not be at the finish line, but he's right there. I mean, he's right there.
Yeah,
he's
Eddie.
great. Eddie, awesome. Again, super consistent. Caleb,
Yep.
super consistent. Caleb's been on ESPN many times, right?
Yeah, and he's still
a kid.
a junior.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still a
under
kid.
18.
So there's a lot of talent here in Texas. And a lot of people don't know about the TCL talent here in Texas.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, at this point in time, I'd put Texas against anybody.
Me too.
Come get the smoke.
Yeah,
honestly.
and so coming up we have that the ACL Open number 10, shootout number 2, and we also have the TCL SIG that's on May 4th to 6th in Irving.
Right.
And the signature series are the biggest events in cornhole. Can we call them that?
Maybe not in cornhole, but Texas.
What's bigger?
Worlds.
Oh, is it? I've never been to one of those.
But I will say Ryder Cup for Texas, typically bigger than Worlds.
Worlds is what?
It's
educate me.
ACL's pretty much final event. Everybody in the country will come out there. They have all their divisions. They run it at their headquarters. It's like just the final show, pretty much.
Okay, I got it. That's where people go to try to qualify to be a pro?
Yes, correct. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of good cornhole coming up.
Yeah. What do you think of these super holes?
I wish they had better celebrity. I mean, I get it. It's cornhole. How good is the celebrity going to be?
Yeah.
But they get some. Man, okay, I don't want to go into the negativity thing either, but you think you put some better pros on there too.
I think it's okay to be negative sometimes.
Sometimes,
right?
I mean,
we're not hating on ACL.
Yeah, no offense to the pros that are on Superhole. I get it, but there are better pros to put on Superhole.
Better from a skill perspective.
Skill, mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me, it's like you're inviting fans there. Why are you putting these? I don't want to use the word boring, but boring. Quiet and reserved individuals playing in Superhole. I want to see Jordan Powers in there telling Jordan Poyer why you get nervous, Yeah. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see whatever is going to happen, I think it can be better. I wish they were better about choosing pros and chose more personalities more than anything. I mean, I would either go straight personality or straight talent. It's one or the other. They're I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know what they're doing either, and I'm not sure if I like watching bad cornhole. Right? Like the situation from Jersey Shore wasn't very good at cornhole.
Right.
Like he was struggling to hit the board.
But they're doing it to get those fan bases in, right?
Yeah, but then you show them boring cornhole or bad cornhole?
Well, they're just showing how the difference between the situation and a pro, right?
Yeah, well, I'm in the minority here because my understanding is people like it. Like, I'm just saying from my perspective, I don't really get it.
I don't think people like it the way that, I don't. I think it's entertaining when there's someone there, when there's celebrity competing that you know.
Yeah, maybe. All right, so another thing to talk about, Texas Cornhole Show. We've got teams in ACL.
Yes.
And we have the Texas, not board bullies. I always think it's board bullies.
Yeah.
I remember board bully and say, okay, it's not board bully. Texas bully baggers.
Okay.
Yeah, not the board bully. Even though the logo's even the same.
Did we win the first?
No, we got smoked on television.
Oh.
We lost pretty bad.
Texas fashion.
Yeah. Our boy Ernest Monarca didn't do too bad, but his partner did. His partner missed a lot of bags. I forgot who he is.
Donald Glover, right?
Is that who? I don't remember.
No, not Donald Glover. I always say that. It's like Josh Glover.
Yeah, Ernest did. Monarca did pretty good. It was fun to see him on TV.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of the local guys around the DFW area.
And it's an experience, you know, being under those lights.
Yeah.
This crowd around you, knowing that people are watching you. It's an experience. So I'm glad he got a taste of it.
So the Texas team lost on television, but then they went and won every other game. So I think they're like 5-1 or something.
So you're
like
saying that we got a lot of nerves over here.
A lot of nerves?
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause
they
got
can't
on
win the
TV?
TV game?
Yeah, I think the one, I was watching Ernest, and his buddies, it seemed like the big show really got in his head. He was a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know him, but I think he is a Texas player. But one thing that's cool about that Texas team is a lot of Texas guys are on it.
Yeah, and I think I think they're going to try to get Texas people on Texas teams. Every state, I think they're going to try to get their players on their teams.
Yeah, local
how that
guys.
works long term, I'm not quite sure, but I think it's what they're going for.
Yeah, I think Eddie and Caleb won. They were playing together, which I think they're probably the power team on that team.
What team's AJ on?
I think he's on that team too.
Okay.
But I forgot who he played with and the stats. I didn't prep for the results of the team thing. But I think
by the way, if someone out there knows how to get to ACL events, see ACL stats, wherever the case may be, and just where we can access it and know what's going on, that would be awesome.
Please let me know. Like I was trying to prepare for this show, and getting this data is too hard.
It's hard.
Like, why is it so hard? I want to know what the matchups are going to be in the next doubles event, or I want to know like what the stats were for the super regional. Maybe it's because Scorholio has made it so easy and we're spoiled. Like we think I could just pull up Scorholio and I can go look
is
at
100% the superior app or whatever you want to call
amazing.
It's superior 100%.
We got so lucky as cornhole players that Benjamin Boodoo and his friends made that app. It is awesome.
Yes, it changed life for cornhole.
Absolutely made cornhole so much better. I mean, I'm at home. I set if you're in a tournament, for example, I'll go see that you're playing. I'll follow you, and whatever I'm doing, we're usually watching my kids or making dinner or whatever I'm doing, and I'll get a little boop boop. I'm like, oh, Grant got his ass kicked.
21-17. You know,
it's so cool. And I could go look and go check all my stats. And then you were saying you trying to convince me to use it to practice.
Yes, the practice stuff they got on there is awesome. You know, I like to play against Ghost Expert and give that a run. Where the Ghost Expert you're playing against either throws a 10, 11, or a 12. And it's realistic to play in a game. You know, I don't throw a 10-9 to beat Ghost Expert, which is not easy to do. I mean, open board, obviously, I get it. But it's just a good thing to compete against.
Yeah, and just, you could track your bags too?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
I have I've been doing that to see how I throw with certain bags, wherever it is. It's good to look back on and see. You know, especially if you switch over to a new bag, you go 3 months of throwing it, whatever it may be. And sometimes you want to look back and be like, man, I was really good with this bag instead. You know, I should go back to that.
Yep.
Or play style.
And now you can go back to games that you've played and add what bag you used.
Yes. Which you can also add tags where you can put sticky boards, you can put outdoor throwing, indoor throwing.
Okay.
Yes.
Very
and you
cool.
can break it up within tags.
So are the tags pre-populated, or can you type in your own tag?
I believe you can type it in.
Wow, so you can describe.
Right. The environment, correct.
All right, so we're on a timer, which I love the timer. We're trying to do 30-minute
Raymond
segments.
wanted to put us like a shot clock up there almost.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we got 5 minutes left. I love the shot clock. I love the timer, although I do feel that I'm a little bit rushed. I'm trying to hurry, but that's just how I am.
Hey, we're getting going.
It could be the hyper focus that I took earlier.
Oh, yeah.
The supplement.
Your alpha brain.
Yeah, whatever that thing is. My wife got it. It's pretty good. All right, the other thing I wanted to talk about, going back to the ACL event with Logan and Justin, their finals was against Schemmerhorn and Needstead.
Yes.
Right? Did you watch it?
I watched it.
And those two guys were chatting it up, having a good time, getting their ass kicked.
Not Needstead. Needstead was throwing against Logan. The other dude, I don't know who he thinks he is. He's not him. Let me tell you that.
Capital H.
Yes. And he's just sitting there, looking at Needstead with whatever face he's got on. And it's like, dude, man. So me and Sammy actually played those guys at Worlds, and we beat them. And the only vibe I got from those guys is they think they're so good.
Really?
So I'm really happy Logan and Justin beat them.
Wow. Okay, so I actually liked seeing their attitude and that they were just joking around, trying to keep it light. Justin and Logan were doing their thing, being super serious,
Right.
super locked in, and they should, because you're on TV, you're a
Right.
professional at this sport.
But I think you do the. Wasn't it a blowout?
Yeah, they got their asses kicked.
It's easy to keep it light when you're never in the game.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the things I wanted to talk about. Like it's been proven in sports psychology that smiling and keeping it light does help performance. It can help performance, especially if you have like anxiety issues and you
Right.
struggle, right? So keeping it light from that perspective, I think is a smart thing to do. But I think they overdid it. But what I learned today, listening to the Big Asp Cornhole podcast, they were drunk. And it was one of their birthdays. Now, I don't know how much of this was just fucking Excuseville. You know what I mean? They're just making a bunch of excuses.
If that's their excuse, I'm sorry. I hope they hear this. What a sorry excuse.
It's a sorry excuse. Oh, they had more than one. Oh, I remember the two excuses. Well, number one, it was one of their birthdays. They woke up and started drinking, hitting the Tito's at 8 a.m.
Okay.
And apparently one of them, the guys whose birthday it was, he said that they were like not going to let him on the broadcast because he was so drunk. Okay.
Okay, so
Skeptical.
so let me unpack this real quick, right?
2 minutes.
Are you embarrassed?
I don't know. They were not embarrassed.
Because to say that on a podcast, it's embarrassing, dude. Especially because my immediate thought is your sponsors have to be like, dude, what the heck? We're paying for you to go out here. We're putting our brand on you. You're going to get to the main stage, do all that work, get there, get drunk, or be drunk, suck. They sucked. They got blown out off the stage. See ya. All right. Then you're going to get on a podcast after and talk about how you're drunk and whatever the case may be. You're representing our brand pretty bad.
These are good points. I can't argue with you.
It's embarrassing.
Okay.
So again,
number 2 in the world. These are the number 2 guys.
Yeah.
Number 2 doubles
Justin
team.
and Logan, way to serve it to him, man.
Yeah. Way to go. Yeah, I'm glad our Texas boys did it. I don't even think they're old enough to drink, Justin and Logan.
Logan is.
Oh, yeah, but...
I don't know about Justin for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, the second excuse they had, which is actually, I think, a pretty legitimate excuse, had to change bags, which we heard a lot about this,
yes.
right? Because you have to have a certain color bag, and it has to...
so what the rule is for ACL, you have to have a solid color bag.
Okay, and it has to be different than the ones you're playing
Yes.
against. All right, they had to switch bags, and they didn't even they got one down and back. And they said, okay, we're live.
Live TV?
Yeah, you cannot get it. Hey, can I get a second down and back? No, not an option. You're throwing those bags, and one of the comments by one of those dudes was like, man, the boards are fast. We weren't used to these
The boards
bags.
are always slick on the main stage.
On the main stage? Yeah. All right, cool. So I think either the camera's out of batteries already or maybe not yet, but this
Close.
wraps up our first segment of the Texas Cornhole Show, brought to you by AJ's Sports Not a Body.
And we will be back with Mr. 12's interview of the week with the legend, Brandon Gregor.
Is Brandon Gregor him, capital H?
Yes.
I mean, if we're going to be throwing around the capital H,
we're
him,
throwing it away. We're throwing it around everywhere.
I mean, I'm going to say BG's him.
He's him.
I mean, he's him. He's been around for a while. He's won a lot of things. I can't wait to talk to him.
Yeah.
All right, action. All right, we're back. The Texas Cornhole Show with special guest, the Texas Goat. He is him, capital H him. Did you see all that during the Easter weekend? The capital H him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I saw that, dude.
I'm going to put BG in as my him. Yeah, Brandon Gregor, BG, Texas legend. I've only known you for, 2-3 years.
Yep.
I think one of my only open tournament wins. I think my only open tournament win was with you as my partner. Also won a league, AB, with you. Only time I've done that. But yeah, ever since I've been in this game of cornhole in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you've just kind of been a staple, a stalwart. Everybody's a little bit worried about having to play against you. But yeah, that's my introduction. Grant?
Brandon Gregor, the legend. 10 plus signature series wins, 2-time player of the year. Is there a state championship in there?
There is.
Of course there is.
Singles and doubles.
Former ACL pro. I mean, it just goes on and on. This guy's done it all. Surf rodeo winner.
Rodeo.
Very true.
I mean, he's the GOAT's GOAT,
I appreciate it.
So, how you been doing?
Been doing good.
How's the league night going?
Me and Hunter playing good. It's good 2 weeks right now. We haven't lost, so we'll see.
Yeah.
So he's clicking and I'm clicking, trying to get back in the groove of it. So
What bags y'all throwing?
Greed Max,
Oh, yeah?
center Greed Max.
Y'all are throwing that Mavs colorway, right?
Yes, it's still kind of slow, still sticking in the hole a little bit, but we're pushing it through.
Boards get slow here.
It's a different board every board because we
Yeah.
play on 3 of them, and all 3 of them are different. So.
Yeah. It is definitely slower boards here. And, it takes a little bit getting used to. Because we tried to throw Elvis last week.
Yeah.
We were like, just too sticky. Couldn't do it.
It was pretty slow.
And this week we're able to get it done, but
Just throw it a little bit harder.
yeah, easy solution, right?
I'm really starting to like that bag, by the way. The Elvis bag, I'm kind of falling in love with it.
Yeah, it's been my main bag lately. I just like how I don't feel like I miss big. I feel like if I go after shots, it's not going to punish me if I miss a little bit more than what I should miss by, right? So, but anyways, BG, who's your partner for next SIG?
Next thing is Jacob Foreman.
Oh,
from
yeah?
Oklahoma. Yes, sir. It's
Feeling dangerous?
yeah, feeling real good about it. He's actually got me practicing a little bit, so just play with a pro and see what I can do. Finally, someone on the other end's better than I am, so we'll see how that goes. Just be able to relax and throw my game.
And I think y'all like slower bags, all in all. So I think it'll be a good partnership.
Yeah, he likes the greed, so and that's one of my favorite bags. So it's going to be a good little turnout. Hopefully I don't get those baby deer legs with them.
No, I'm sure you'll be fine. Experience. You just have experience to lean on. So I've known you for about 5 years now. It seems like 5 years. I mean, way back in the day, you were the Brandon Gregor, and I just wanted to play against you whenever I could just to test myself, right? And I failed my tests many times.
It
But
happens.
we got it going, and I mean, so you've been playing for 12 years now,
Yes, my 12th year this year.
and you started out TCL, right, when a year after TCL started?
A year after. They had 1 year right before I started playing, and then walked in and haven't quit.
Now, if you had to put your TCL experience into words, what would you say about it?
I say it's like a family. It was a good time right then because just meeting different people from all over the area, and then they turn into family. If you hang out, you hanging out, drinking, you end up hanging out, traveling outside of Cornhole. But Cornhole is a good spot to where you meet different people every time you come to the event.
Right. So along with meeting so many different people over your 12-year span, you've also seen the bag game change dramatically over these 12 years. How would you describe a bag through the generations almost?
We went from slow and then a little bit faster with the new suede bags, the red and blue ones. Then we went to I believe they busted out the 450s at AT&T at a TCO event. And those things were skipping off the back of the board about 10 yards away.
Which is unbelievable to say because, again, that's still a suede bag.
Yeah.
And people are like, yeah, that's too fast.
It was moving that day, and it keeps on moving. I still have a set of the original ones that were from the stadium. And if you look on top of them, the TCL's in it's a purple on the blue ones, and it's orange on the red ones.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Did they have the stamp back then, or is it just 450s?
They've always had the TCL logo on the bag.
And I think a
From
lot of
each
people
generation.
don't even realize this, but back when TCL first started, you would show up to a set of boards and the bags were there,
Yep.
right? And you had to compete with the bags that were provided.
We flipped a coin, and then you choose red or blue.
So if you won the coin toss, you got to pick which bags.
Yep.
And I think I've heard some of the guys used to play back then, you had a favorite color, like the reds were better than the blues.
Everybody went for the blue ones first.
The blue ones were better?
Yep.
Yeah. And were they brand new? Were they broken in at all?
Oh, no, they played each tournament with them. So every tournament we went to, it was those bags. So
Same ones.
brand new at the beginning of the year, and then throughout the first singles match for the day, those bags are pretty much broken in. So
do you remember like when TCL made the switch to buying bags from them that you could take home with you or whatever. Like, how long ago was that? When did TCL start?
5 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah, 5-6 years ago.
It's pretty much right when I started that the bag game changed, and then that's when the PAs were the next bag.
The TCL Pro Advantages?
Probably
Yes.
2017, 2018, whenever I went to be a ACL Pro. A year before that, we started all new different bags were coming out. So we were traveling.
Yeah.
So we wanted to play with them. So we started buying different bags then.
So was it standard across cornhole tournaments where the bags were provided for you and kind of everybody switched to bring your own bags? Was it like a bring your own bag movement? Did people switch eventually or did it all happen at the same time?
TCL all happened at the same time, just to make it fair. And then ACO always had their own bags. And then just recently you can get different bag manufacturers for ACO now too.
Yeah.
And they had some of the slowest bags. I remember my first tournament in Mississippi, and then I got to watch Eric Zocklin and Cicedro Herrera play for an hour and a half, just going bag for bag.
With slow bags?
With slow bags. And they were shooting airmails. Cicedro ended up coming back and winning, and he came out, and he's from Chicago. He came out with the pointy boots on after that and walk around in the casino strutting it. It was,
Wait, you mean the ones that are like real pointy?
oh, yeah. It would almost pick your nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he brought him out. He was ready to party. That was a good time, too. We had about 15 people went down there to show ACO our first big old tournament.
So you played in all the leagues?
Yes,
TCL,
I've played
ACO,
in
ACL.
all of them. I love cornhole, so there's an event and I have a decent chance to have a good time or to win it, I'm going. Doesn't matter. Oklahoma. I've driven a little bit everywhere.
And that brings us to you playing in the sand on the beach, surf rodeo. Tell me about that experience, the surf rodeo experience, California.
Well, Bobby Tovar and Ed Bueno were down here. They were trying to play in Ryder Cup, and that didn't happen. They were pretty upset, but it's kind of a Texas thing then. So I went to, after we played the event on Friday, took them to Waffle House, and then Bobby Tovar asked me to come out to Ventura, California. You had to have a California resident, and then he was my California resident. So I flew out there. We got to play in a tournament, and then I met my another tournament, the Big Dog. And then we ended up playing in that. Vallejo. We signed up with that on Wednesday. Never met the guy. Never talked to him. Met him on Saturday, hungover, and we just started playing cornhole and just rode the ship, and it was awesome.
Now, see, that's a true professional right there to get drunk the day before the big tournament.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that, but that's when they showed me mini cornhole, and I ended up being good at that, and they had a good time of mixing drinks too.
Yeah, so you're drinking and playing mini cornhole?
Yeah,
Yeah.
first time, and it was just like riding a bike.
One of the things that Grant just alluded to is in the last big ACL tournament that was on television, the guys who got second place.
Needstead and the other dude.
Shimmerhorn?
Something like that.
They
Dustin
were-
and Logan played them in championship.
They got beat pretty bad.
Mhm.
And they were on a podcast that I listened to today talking about how it was one of their birthdays that day. So they woke up and started drinking. One guy was talking about Tito's and Red Bull at 8 a.m. And this is for the ACL. But they were having fun, joking around, getting drunk, and they ran the table. They got all the way to the the finals, which is it's really hard to do, right? But yeah. What do you think about that? Like drinking during a big tournament. Like let's say you wake up, you're an ACL pro, you got all these sponsors that brought you there. How are you going to handle your alcohol intake?
I'd wait for a little bit later in the day myself.
Pace yourself is
Yeah,
what
I
you're
would
saying?
pace myself. I used to drink while I was playing, and then it got a little bit competitive, and then you start talking a lot of more shit whenever you get the booze going.
Yeah.
And I've been at it a couple times throughout my years. And it was a good time. Now I play sober till about halfway. I'll wait until I lose a good match, and then it's time to have a couple and see what happens after that. Sometime it helps and sometime it doesn't.
I mean, I don't blame somebody for taking some drinks because, nerves, whatever the case may be. But,
Yeah.
I mean, waking up and immediately, hey, I don't care if it's your birthday or not, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, they made it to the very end, but it only became an excuse for being drunk was only an excuse at the very end, right?
That's right.
So it's just, I don't
That's
know.
a preventable.
Yeah, I have a strong opinion
Yes.
about that, obviously. So
Yeah.
And to walk through that tournament like that, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's an accomplishment.
Honestly, I think they're embellishing how much they were drinking. I think it's part of the story, part of the legend.
Yeah.
We made it to the finals, getting drunk the whole day. I've taken it with a grain of salt.
yeah, but there's been a lot of people that have done that, by the way. They
Yeah.
ain't the first ones to do that.
True.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, again, I don't like that excuse. I don't like that. That's what you want to talk about at the end of it. Oh, we were drunk and we did that.
Well, how about bags? So one of the other excuses. So excuses for losing. Okay.
Yeah.
I was too drunk. That's standard. Any adult who drinks has used that at least once in their life for a cornhole loss.
At least.
Another one, the bags, right? With the last, the guys who got second in the last big tournament, for ACL one, they had to throw brand new bags, and they only got one down and back with them. Because it was, hey, we're going live on ESPN. They want to do another down and back at least, but
Yeah.
they found out they had to change bags, and then they went live, and the excuse was, one of the excuses was, we weren't used to those bags.
And that's the biggest flaw in the ACL game right now is that someone can be throwing bags all day long, but if they don't fit the right colors for TV,
Yeah.
or if the people you're playing against have something even a little close, they won't let you throw them.
But that's on the player, man. Just get 2 sets of bags you really like.
You say that, but if I'm running through a whole entire tournament with one set of bags,
That'd be hard to switch.
yeah,
Yeah. So legitimate excuse, you think?
that's legitimate.
What do you think, BG?
You have to have another set ready.
You gotta have another set.
I mean,
I don't
because you
wanna
know
use
you don't
this.
be on TV, so yes, you're playing with that one set all day. But if I go sit down and I get back up, guess what set I'm throwing? The ones that are sitting in my bag, just to toss them and break them up just a little bit, just in case.
Right.
Okay, so let me ask you this: what was your biggest excuse after a loss?
Yeah. Good
Mine?
question. I
Oh,
like
it's
that.
myself, the way I throw.
I don't. Okay, now that you're done being a good guy, after your biggest, what would you say is like you really wish you got that win?
Probably this past weekend, I played Justin Burton. I was playing good against him. He ended up beating me 21-18. I don't think a pro scored 18 on him during his run, but just getting the mindset of just throwing bags in the hole. I mean, you got to go hole for hole with him. You might throw a blocker, but you better be able to drag it too.
Yeah.
So, and it was good for a mental aspect for me because I haven't been playing in a while, so that was a good little challenge to step in the box with him one-on-one. Played against him a couple times, but one-on-one, I've rarely get to play him to do that.
Because I don't see you going out to many singles tournaments anymore. Have you been?
Here and there, I pick and choose where I play.
They're all over the place now, so
Yeah.
I know there's plenty of places
There's
to
a
play.
tournament every night of the week.
Right.
Yeah.
What I
Really
do, I
is.
usually wait until about Friday, go to Twin Peaks, have a couple drinks, and then stroll through Score Julio, and then pick a tournament.
So, what you just described right there on how you would find a cornhole tournament, just compare that to 6 years ago, 5 years ago.
We still had Facebook, but it was just a
You had to follow
post.
every page
yeah.
on
You
Facebook.
had to follow the TCL page for the tournament, and then they run it on paper.
Yep, Brackalope.
Brackalope, I've been to paper tournaments. Everything's on a piece of paper. JD's running it, and he has sheets of papers on the tables now instead of iPads and computers now.
Yeah.
He had paper brackets and just marking.
Ryder
in any
Cup,
way.
unreal how many just huge pieces of paper with all the brackets laid out.
Oh, that printing company was happy when they talked to him. But
Yeah, I
they-
do remember JD with like 1,000,000 tablets in front of him. When I started, it was all on Brackalope and tablets. And he just was, how on earth he was staying on top of everything with all the noise and people with their attitudes. And he was just doing a great job. Calling the games. Remember yelling in
On
the
the
in the mic? I guess that's when I started. I'm assuming before it was, that's what question I have for you. Your very first TCL Signature Series. tell me about it. Like, how many players were there? How many boards were there?
Man, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Many boards, probably about 20, 25,
All right.
if that, depending on the pre-signups or how many people actually showed
What
up.
was the venue? That's a big
Yeah.
Oh,
Irving Convention Center.
because I
No.
believe they used to run Signature Series like at the Mule Barn.
yes, we played at the Mule Barn, Signature Series, Ryder Cup. That's back in the day to where it was small, and we didn't need that many spaces to where.
So I would describe the Mule Barn for people who haven't been there as a honky tonk bar. Is that right? Is
Yeah,
it a
because they
honky
had
tonk?
country music
Yeah.
Thursday through Sunday.
You got your line dancing area, right? A big.
It's kind of small, but yeah, you can get some boot scooting down.
Yeah.
And then if you want to go to the back, you move some boards and
Little two-stepping.
yeah, two-stepping back there.
Yeah.
But they've had that thing. The Mule Barn has been there since Cornhole started. Chad's been behind that one from day one.
Well, now it's set up just for cornhole.
Oh yeah,
Right.
They have turnkey and everything.
Yeah. It's super nice.
Yeah,
for
it's a
cornhole.
good spot.
Nothing
Yeah.
like AJ's, but it's not bad.
No, and the cornhole venues have gotten better and better, so that's a plus. We've been to small bars. Now we're in convention centers, soccer arenas.
I mean, we said AT&T Stadium at one point, right?
Yeah, got to play there twice already.
The game is only growing, and it's only going to keep on growing, right? So speaking of that, I have been around long enough to see some of the greats, right? You've been around to probably see all the greats. Who are some guys that you've seen through your 12-year experience in TCL that have came in, lit the league on fire, and just don't really play anymore?
First one I'd say Daniel Vinson. I know he still shows up here and there. He was playing from the get-go, and he was a state horseshoe player, won multiple state championships in horseshoes. And when I came in, him, Jason Andrews, Jason McGregor, and Chris Gardner, probably the top four on the east Dallas side. And then on Chad's side, Mule Barn, you'd have Chad, Tony Wiesen, Adam Utes was coming up. They had a bunch of no-namers from back in the day to where you just didn't know who they were. And they would, Clay White from the get-go. Clay White will show up in any tournament with his Crown Royal bag and whoop anybody. I'd put him against some of the best, even though it's harder now. But back in the day, he could show up from not playing, and it'd be like just riding a bike for him.
It's an easy game.
Yeah.
Just throw the bag in the hole.
Yep, go put it in the hole.
Yeah.
Shout out Easy Game.
Easy game.
That's right, easy game.
Yeah, Clay White, definitely a beast. Josh Murdoch doesn't play as much, beast. He wasn't obviously as long tenure as like Daniel Vinson. Stuart Foster, people don't know, dude. That guy's got titles under his belt.
Mm-hmm.
The dude has balled, but I mean, it's almost like going from the Jordan era in basketball to going to the social media era in basketball, where just there's so much more attention on it now than there was before, and people don't realize that. People almost don't give it credit, right? So, yeah, I mean, cornhole evolving.
Yeah.
No,
It's
it's-
people are taking it as a full-time job now,
Yes.
right? Where day in and day out, all they do is play cornhole. Well, we saw it on the last big ACL event televised on their profession. It said professional cornhole player.
Yes.
And I've talked to some guys, and they're making a decent living, traveling around, 6 days a week, taking down cornhole tournaments, which I think you did for a little bit.
Yeah, I did it for a year. It's just a matter of finding that one big tournament. I mean, like, just to be able to go and know that you're playing well then because you're playing all the time. I was practicing every day. Then trying to find a tournament just to win some money that day, just to survive.
Right.
So through 12 years, you have to keep yourself to the level of like self-motivation you got to have to go through 12 years and compete at a high level. What is it that you've had to almost like look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself to get you through 12 years of grinding through cornhole?
I think it's just the competitiveness. I'm a competitor. Winning helps. Kept on winning. Maybe if I was an offer, C player. I've always been an A player. Never got to go through the rankings.
Right.
So you're saying, like, how does somebody like John keep playing? Right? How does somebody like me, who doesn't get a lot of W's, keep playing?
I'd say practice by yourself.
Yeah.
It's a mind game. It's mental. It's all in your head. You got to be able to have it in between your ears to be able to shoot that shot and just to throw it.
It's easy to overthink this game,
Yes.
I think. Easy.
And then you're done. Once you overthink it's hard to get back to.
Yeah.
You're losing that game and then getting a drink, and then hopefully the next game you're ready to go.
Now, when you feel like you have something off in your throw, how do you go about fixing it? Is it just throw it out? Do you take videos and kind of compare, okay, this is how I looked 6 months ago, this is how I look now? How did you handle it?
I don't watch videos. Maybe I should. I just throw it out. I like practicing by myself. I like to be by myself sometimes. I love being around people. I'm just a quiet guy, shy guy. And just to throw it out and just to be able to tweak it or try to throw a little cutter bag or just a different release form.
Right.
It's like throwing a baseball pitch.
I see you every once in a while practicing your step throw.
I just can't overcome that throw. I enjoy it. I throw it down the middle. It's like switching left foot forward. I throw it right down the middle every time, but in a game, I can't take the leap and make a switch.
So have you made any big changes with your mechanics over the years?
No, from what I can see, I've been the same from the get-go.
You know, one of the things that strikes me as distinctive about your throw is how you grip the bag. And it looks, from my perspective, it looks like you're grabbing like the bottom corner of the bag almost, is how it looks to me.
I always have the seam in.
You go seam in with it?
I go seam in, and I am cornered, probably at the corner of the bag there, and just try to keep the release the same way.
And your go-to trick shot, I mean, everybody's got some move at your level, right? You're down the middle and airmail, obviously everybody's got to have it, but you've got a really nice cutter, a right to left cut. At least that's what I see. Am I right?
That's grown on me here and there, but my favorite bag is a push bag.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I hit one earlier against Tracy. It was a 3-bag push bag on with the Greed Max, and these bags have been clogging the hole all night long.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 bags in the hole just clogged. Been wondering what's going on. I'm throwing them hard.
Yeah.
And this one just picked it up, took all 3 of them, and it was 2015. Pretty much ball game right there.
So do you have a thought or a move when you go for a push bag? How is it different than a slide?
Because I'm usually, most of the time, or partial of the time, I'm on the slick side. So it's normal throw to me, but I'm throwing it a little bit harder. So it's not like a tad bit slower. I'm throwing it a little bit harder on slick.
And what's your aiming point?
That's just on the board over the times. I'm going right in front of the bag, I would think.
A spot in front of the
Yeah,
bag?
a spot in front of the bag to where it can just pick it up and just go.
Nice.
On my advantage.
Singles or doubles? What's your preference?
It used to be singles. Now I'm enjoying doubles more. In my mind, I think I'm a horrible doubles partner.
You're the best doubles
You're
partner.
a great doubles partner.
In my mind, because I'm just quiet, and then
That's
sometimes,
what's good about it. It's a calm presence on the other side of the board.
Okay. Sometimes I think I'm a horrible doubles partner because sometimes I team up with some people, and they've been throwing fire. And then we team up, and I don't know if it's nerves or just playing with me. That's just like, or in the mind, because whoever plays against me, they're throwing 12s. They're going to throw their best game against me. It don't matter who they are.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to throw the best game
It's their
against me.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's their Super Bowl. Hooping and hollering,
So personal experience playing with you. I love playing with you because I love playing someone that's steady and plays the style of game you play. I'm not worried about you giving up more than maybe a 4 on your worst frame. Other than that, it gives me the freedom almost to be like, I can play my game. I can be aggressive because it's on me, right? Mm-hmm. The other side, I'm not worried. He's going to get 2, wash, maybe give up 2. But there's not going to be a big score change, right? So then that's what makes it so easy about playing with you is I don't have to worry about BG giving up a big number. You're always down the middle. It makes it easy. So
like playing with Grant, he's gonna do some crazy.
I'm going to stress
shit.
you out.
Yeah, he's good. He might give up an 8.
Yeah,
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it. I might get one back, but I might give one up.
I've been on the other end plenty of times. But
Well, you guys have played together a lot, right?
yes,
Traveling
we traveled
around.
a few times. I'll travel with anybody. Just got to ask. But his game is fun to watch because he will do some type of shot to where you're like, you step back, like, you put your hands up. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not doing that.
Right.
It's kind of like Noah Wheaton doing a credit card my first ever tournament to where he slid a bag through 2 bags in the hole, and it came down in between them with those bags staying. So he came down on the other end. He goes, I go, what was that? He goes, it's a credit card. And he wasn't a pro or anything. He was an ACO pro. And I was like, here we go. Looks like I need to learn something new. And Grant has those shots to where he will pick stuff up. He will come halfway around the hole, middle of the hole, and bring it. And then you just throw your hands up and be like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
It's my turn now. Here comes a 10 or 12.
Probably a 12.
All
Down
right.
the middle.
So that is part 1 of our interview.
Well, hold on.
I'm just gonna reset the camera. We'll keep going.
We got 1 minute,
Okay.
and I'm gonna be honest. We're wrapping it up here.
Wrapping it up.
We're wrapping
I'm
it
thinking
up.
this is part 1.
Leaving for more.
You're
There
right.
Hey,
go.
dude, we're playing league with him. We got him. We got BG will be back for another interview, and I hope that the people who listen to this have some questions for us to ask BG.
Oh, that's
honestly.
right. Yeah.
Bring them out.
But BG, you have about 60 seconds. If you want to give a shout out, give someone credit, say thank you, whatever you want to do, you got the mic. Mic's all yours.
All right, here we go. I got to give a big shout out to DBC, Them Boys Cornhole, one of my first sponsors that back in the day they ever asked me to be part of their Center Cornhole, as always. Having the best bags in the game, the leadership behind it, AJ's Auto Body, AJ Sports, giving us the greatest place to play. Advice for upcoming players. Don't be afraid to ask better players to play. And because sometimes we don't ask people. We like to be asked. At least I do. And half the time I will say yes. So don't forget about the legend. I hear we're coming out with a new Envy bag. It looks pretty good. And Big D bags coming out with some new stuff. And Easy Game coming out with more apparel. And that's about it. I love playing cornhole. Just have fun playing.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. Hope to have you on again. And hey,
Anytime. Just ask me.
absolutely.
Had a
Appreciate
good
it, man.
time. Thanks for having me.
Hey, we
man,
got
thanks.
one more thing. The Baghdaddy's Cornhole Challenge.
Uh-oh. Here
Up
we
next.
You got
Oh, and it's gonna feature drone footage. Is that right?
Yes.
Great.
You're
Uh-oh.
flying it. All right, BG, we got you competing in the Baghdaddy's Cornhole Challenge. You're going to have to make 2 bags over a chair, airmail, and you're going to have to make 2 bags off the board in front of it. You're going to be competing with Baghdaddy's bags. We have you throwing the yo-yo, floater, contender, and one. Think you can do it?
It's the first time throwing them,
Now-
so let's try it.
You're going to have 60 seconds to complete the challenge. If you do, 5 people who share our podcast, or our show, sorry, and put their easiest way to get paid, if it's Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, whatever the case may be, share it, put your cash tag, and we'll get you paid.
Let's go. Easy
All right.
game.